A Saturday night down in the valley. HEB Park in southern Texas, the home of Rio Grande Valley. Tonight, the Toros host the Vancouver Whitecaps. Great to have you with us, everybody. Drew Felios alongside Devin Kerr. Two very young clubs going at it tonight for Vancouver. They are led by the high-scoring Marco Bustos.
Marcos Bustos, this attacking midfielder, very aggressive, has been with the Whitecaps since 2015. He leads his team with 6 goals and 1 assist on the year. Watch for his explosive footwork and solid ball striking ability to lead the charge this evening and break down the back line of RGV.
And RGV, led by Kyle Murphy. Murphy playing as good a soccer right now as anybody in the league.
Kyle Murphy has got the hot hand, if you will, even though we're playing soccer here this evening. He, as well, has great quick feet. He's excellent in the air. He's got solid pace, and watch for him with his explosive footwork going 1v1 down the stretch. He's been hot as of late. He's got 4 goals in the past couple games. And again, another one that's going to have to show up here this evening if the Toros are going to have the chance to get a very valuable 3 points.
All right, let's take a look at the lineups now. First for Vancouver. This is how the Whitecaps line up. This is a team looking for a spark. Can this unit get it done tonight?
Looking for a spark, but they're also very young, and they're still progressing, developing. These young kids are looking to gain a lot of reps, if you will, and just continue to gain experience, this, that, and the other. But what you're going to see up top is a lot of explosive firepower. Look for Marco Bustos, who we just accented in this broadcast. He's going to be able to lead the charge on this front line. You got Gardner out on the right, and Tomas Sanner up top. Very, very talented, very capable young man coming out of Princeton. He's got 4 goals on 19 shots this year, and that leads 3rd on the team.
And the Toros, led by Mr. Murphy up top. They've also got other threats throughout the lineup.
I'll tell you what, though, Junior Gonzalez has brought his A-game here this evening. You got Justin Billiou out on the left and Kai Green, 2 very offensive-minded attacking midfielders. You've got Taylor Hunter, who can also play on the outside, but he's moved into center back with Magalhaes, and Joseph Holland and Jorginho James, the mainstays of the midfield. They will be the engines that's going to run this squad here tonight, moving it up top to the very talented Kyle Murphy with the supporting cast of Eric Bird.
Justin Billiou, also key component to everything that Rio Grande Valley tries to do. We are set for kickoff. Vancouver taking on the Toros of RGV. Coming up next here on a Saturday night down in the valley.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression. My way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional 3rd division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven, Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Just about ready to start. Down in the Valley tonight, the Toros hosting the Whitecaps out of Vancouver. Second meeting between these two clubs just in the past month as they both met back on August the 2nd. That was a 3-3 draw. So tonight, who is going to be victorious, the Toros or the Whitecaps? There you take a look at Junior Gonzalez, the head coach of Rio Grande Valley. This is a huge matchup tonight. These are the types of games at home in the month of August that you got to have if you're going to make a push to the postseason.
Especially if you're sitting in the position of RGV, who currently right now sitting on 26 points, looking up. They've got a couple teams in front of them looking up at Phoenix, Orange County, OKC, Seattle. OKC, Seattle, and Orange County are only 3 points away. So in theory, with a win, they're going to be level at 29. Now OKC's got a game versus San Antonio tonight, so we're going to see what goes on there. But they're going to slowly try and climb their way back into this playoff race.
Meanwhile, Vancouver, Coach Fagan and the Whitecaps have not won a match in the last few months. Their last win, June 4th, against the Portland Timbers. That's over 2 months ago. They desperately are looking for a victory tonight.
And since then, 7 losses, 4 ties, couple close ones, couple extremely unfortunate defeats that they've been run into the ground. I think what they're looking for here with Rich Fagan and the rest of the squad is they want consistency. They want to see their guys put in a solid 90 minutes for an entire match. You know, unfortunately, they're going through spells. They're having mental lapses, but a lot of that happens when you're dealing with age brackets that they are, 18, 19, 20-year-olds that are still developing, getting used to the game, but that's all going to come with reps like we talked about and experience.
It is amazing when you look down the roster of Vancouver just how many teenagers they put on the field. Right now, 14th place in the Western Conference. This game going to give this club tons of experience tonight. There you take a look at the Toros. 7-10-5, 26 points. Of course, the affiliate of the Houston Dynamo. And this team gaining confidence. See Georgino James, all the things that he does on the field for this club. He is a game changer, isn't he?
I'll tell you what, first and foremost, going to the reference to the scheduling and their statistics, I think the 7-10-5 is not an accurate depiction of where they should be sitting on the table standings, in my opinion. I think Junior Gonzalez and his squad have also suffered from some ill-timed game-winning goals as of late, and they also had to deal with not being able to get through a full 90 minutes. But make no mistake about it, an extremely talented squad, the RGV Toros, and they have definitely got their A squad on the pitch here tonight.
Underway from the Valley. Great to have you with us, Drew Felios, alongside Devin Kerr. Our officials tonight, Louis Guardia, Josh Allen, Cody Roden, and Arturo Ibarra. Toros' last match, a 1-1 draw against the Phoenix Rising. That match was last Saturday, and they were able to get a late goal to win that one. Also, big win over Seattle back on August the 6th as we got our first flag of the evening.
Yeah, Drew, speaking with Junior Gonzalez about that, you know, they had a nice 3-game road stretch. They were able to base themselves up in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. He talked about the guys getting the experience of traveling around, kind of getting a little bit more professionalism into their environment, a little bit more culture, and starting to turn that around. Started off with a loss, but then clawed back into it with a tie, then got a W, and then last week I had the fortunate call to be on that Phoenix game, and you know what? It was a solid match going back and forth all game long. I actually thought RGV had the better run of it and deserved to win the game, but you know what? They stayed strong. They were able to claw back and get a very valuable 1 point in the closing moments of the game, thanks to Ivan Magalhaes.
Yeah, we'll be calling Magalhaes' name a lot. Does so much for the Toros. Here they are attacking now. Try to service this one. Justin Bilyeu, his first touch, signed on August 2nd. He has had a big impact. TJ Kastner with it right now, trying to work through traffic. It gets poked across the touchline.
It's going to be a fun combination down the left side of the pitch because Justin Bilyeu likes to get up and down. He's a very attacking-minded. We talked about that. He'll get a lot of overlapping runs, and TJ Kastner will go 2 ways with him, having no problem to work back and forth. That could be real trouble for Vancouver on the right side of the field.
Kastner goes down, and we have a whistle. Set piece coming up for the Toros. So you look at the obvious size difference between these two clubs. Toros are going to have a big-time size edge, making it a big-time advantage on set pieces just like this.
in both directions, going up like this. They're going to bring, we talked about Ivan Magalhaes, that big center back. They're going to bring him up. Kai Green, very capable as well. And then all the guys that are up top as well, Joseph Holland, Kyle Murphy, as you mentioned, very big, very tall, and it's going to be difficult for this back line of Vancouver to handle.
Have a stiff wind blowing here tonight. Kastner now puts this one in play. Handled inside the 18. And we got an offsides on the Toros. So Vancouver, in their third year of existence, coming off a 3-0 loss to the Seattle Sounders last Sunday. And tonight they are without one of their top players, Meyer Bevan, who, of course, is serving a suspension for a red card. How is that going to affect Vancouver tonight, Devin?
I think on the offensive side of things, it's definitely going to affect them for sure. Bevan has been such a integral part of their offense as of late, growing with more experience and more reps on that squad up top. He's another great midfielder forward that can go up and down, and he's just got the great ingenuity that you need to break down teams when you're pushing forward. And, unfortunately, he made a bad decision in the 84th minute of the game, and he's serving a 3-game suspension for it.
Bevan recently called up to the New Zealand senior national team to compete at the beginning of September. Well, fans, stay up to date with the latest USL news. Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 7 o'clock on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times as Vancouver plays it out of the center circle, just underway here in the Valley. Here's Amanda. Trying to cross it in. And the Toros able to send it out. TJ Kastner on the counter for RGV.
What you'll notice with Junior Gonzalez's side is he's very smart at recognizing what the tactics are at this point in time and what they need to be. He will change things drastically from minute to minute in a match. You'll see a lot of pointing, a lot of finger poking. Hey, let's move here, let's move there. They'll go from a quick strike counterattack team to a possession-oriented team. And for Vancouver, that does not bode well because Vancouver tends to lose the possession battle. They're only holding possession about 47, 48% of the time. So what they're going to need to do is when tactics change, they're going to need to be able to recognize, or Fagan should be able to recognize that, hey, we got to switch ours up as well if we're going to keep pace with this very talented RGV squad.
First corner kick coming up. Corner kicks tonight brought to you by HEB as TJ Kastner will get in position. So Kastner will be the outswinger here. Ball surfaced nicely. Headed up into the air and out of bounds as Justin Bilyeu was in a pretty good spot for RGV.
Justin Bilyeu's going to wish he had that one back. Nice little floater to the penalty mark. You can really hear the wind blowing here tonight, and it's going to affect everybody in their possession, and especially on the set pieces like that. You could see the ball kind of floating to the back post. It's going to be a little bit extra of an advantage for the big tall guys to get them an extra second to get up and win those challenges.
Yeah, ball just kind of got caught in the air. Vancouver only 4 wins in 2017, 12 draws. Soccer fans, Nike's an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, go to NikeSoccer.com. Nike, an official sponsor of the USL. Seventh minute. Both teams kind of just feeling each other out here. This is Cole Saylor. Held up by Serban, the fullback. Chris tries to service it and didn't have the angle that time. A goal kick coming up for the Toros. So Callie Brown, goalie tonight for RGV on loan from the Houston Dynamo.
Callie Brown sharing reps between the pipes with a very talented Borja Angoita. Angoita last week had a solid game. Very talented in his own right. Bounced around Spain a little bit before coming to the USL, and Callie Brown tends to float back and forth between Houston and RGV. So definitely, although Angoita very talented, Brown can hold his own for sure as well, stepping up to the first team squad. I think that's one of the things that Junior Gonzalez has said has been one of the most frustrating, but one of the also the most beneficial things to him is he goes training every week. He's never really going to know who he's going to get, but at the same time, you're always going to have great players. So the fact that they've got a nice system in play and they're able to float back and forth, everybody's bought into it, is really beneficial to the whole program in the long run.
First shot by the Toros, Sean Melvin, the goalie for Vancouver, in the right spot. And I'll tell you what, that ball was shot from far out, but that is a tough save given the way this wind is kicking tonight.
I mean, the professionals to start off, it's difficult to make a save, yet alone with, you know, you got the temperature, the humidity, everything's going on, and like you said, the wind is going to blow and make it knuckle, this, that, and the other. So if you're a Toro player, for sure, you're going to want to test Sean Melvin out early. And on the reverse side of things, this Vancouver squad, when you do get up there, whether you're against the win or not, have a challenge, have a shot, you know, keep the goalkeeper honest, because you want to see what he's going to do and how he's going to react, especially early on in the first few minutes of the game.
Mentioned earlier, Devin, how tough it is to kind of be on loan, to kind of go back and forth from certain clubs. That cannot be easy on some of these players tonight. Several of them have been bounced around so far in 2017. And let's see, it's going to be a goal kick coming up for the Whitecaps.
It's a nice look at Justin Bilyeu's crack from it, like you said, about 35, 40 yards out. And we talked about his left foot and his explosiveness. You can see a great shot there, and it knuckles at the end, and the wind makes it that much harder. Sean Melvin is going to have to be on his P's and Q's here tonight.
Bilyeu will send it back. Toros unbeaten in their last 3 contests. Invite you to hit us up on Twitter tonight at USL. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and info by going to USLsoccer.com and following the league on Twitter at USL. So Bilyeu very active early on for the Toros.
I think that's probably a name we're going to be calling a lot tonight.
Now from the right side, Kai Green. The left back got a Seton Hall. Good design this time. Ball deflected though, just outside the 18. Trying to square one up, it was deflected again. And looks like we are going to have another corner kick coming up.
You can see RGV starting to get a little bit more clever and precise up top. One thing RGV needs to be careful of, and I'm not being disrespectful to the Vancouver program, but RGV tends to play down a little bit. They can also play up, but they tend to play down. So in situations like this, needing to work your way up the table, these are the games that you have to win. And like you said, Drew, you got to win them, especially coming down the stretch.
Put some air under this one. There's that size coming into play. Bilyeu had a pretty decent look again, but it got cleared. Now getting just a little physical. At midfield, Marco Bustos in the middle of it for the Whitecaps.
Head referee Luis Guardia letting him know that, hey, you can't throw your entire body at him. I'm gonna blow the whistle on you quick.
Bustos, top scoring threat tonight for Vancouver.
He's the player for Vancouver if they're going to be successful here this evening and come on the road and reverse their fortune. He is the one, he's the integral piece that is gonna have to come and play. And you can see there's a great representation right down there in the corner of the wind blowing. But he is the integral piece that's gonna have to come in and make sure he puts in a solid 90 minutes. Bring down all the kilometers on that tachometer of his and run it down.
Good battle just outside the 18. Again, Todd Wharton in on it for the Toros. This is Taylor Hunter playing in the back tonight for RGV. James got a little tied up there. And it looks like Whitecaps are going to have a throw-in. Now we switch it the other way. Bilyeu will toss it in. RGV trying to get in position. Got some numbers here. And a pass to the right side that just sails just a bit. Joseph Holland will try and track it down. Have been some opportunities here in the first 15 for RGV. That's going to draw some ire from the crowd.
Nothing much to write home about to the referee there. That was a solid tackle. Very good ball movement by RGV coming from the left side, swinging across the box. You saw the ball played outside to Joseph Holland. He's got to make sure he keeps that wide position a little bit further out, so when that ball is played into him, he's coming onto it and not having to chasing back to knock his angle down.
Talked about the win here so far tonight. You've played in conditions like this, Devin. As a player, how do you adjust your game when you're playing against stiff wind like this?
The biggest thing when you're playing against wind like this is you got to make the ball do the work and keep the ball on the ground. When you start knocking things around in the air, especially when it's against you, you're going to have to put that much more power. You're going to have to keep it lower. You're going to have to run harder. So there's a lot of extra physical and mental things that will take a wear and tear on you over the course of 90 minutes. Easiest thing to do, put the ball on the carpet and let it do its own work.
Thomas Sander offsides that time. Critical game for the Toros, trying to stay in contention for the postseason.
Could hear a second ago Junior Gonzalez barking orders from the sideline, yelling, "Be patient." That's another thing that would be a great piece of advice when it comes to playing against the wind. Be patient. Don't become overwhelmed by the fact that you can't knock that 40-yard ball like we're seeing there. It's not going to be such advantageous when you're going against the wind for Vancouver. So both squads need to be patient, let it take its time. The game will come to you.
Kasner sent it back. Nice job one-on-one. Bill Yu now, and see Vancouver, the game plan, be physical. As physical as you can possibly be.
For sure, especially when it comes down to the height aspect of the game. We talked about they're definitely, most likely I should say, not going to win that battle. So what you need to do is focus your efforts elsewhere, and that's a great piece of advice, Drew. You know, use RGV and Junior Gonzalez's be patient comment, but move in to the physical aspect of the game. Start going body to body, shoulder to shoulder, because they definitely have the ability to do that.
Ball goes out off Kasner, and the Whitecaps will throw it in. Not in the starting lineup for Vancouver are the Baldissimo brothers, Matthew or Michael. Just had a chance to start together for the first time last week. Interesting to see tonight, neither one is on the field at this point for the Whitecaps, but we're probably going to see at least one, or probably both, by the time the night is through.
Yeah, that family, you know, they started in, I believe it was 2011 with Michael Baldissimo in the academy, and then 2013 for Matthew, two very talented young men, still only 19 and 17 years of age, so a lot of development still goes on for those two players, but again, like you said, very talented, and I'd be surprised if we didn't see one of them here tonight.
Callie Brown, nice footwork. And now RGV can turn it upfield. Toros do a good job of keeping everything nice and spread. Kasner gets it right back. Sends it to the right side now. Rhythm starting to build for the Toros. Final third, not there that time though. And it looked like a handball. And the referee right there to make the call.
Unfortunate for Kai Green. Took a nasty little bounce off his arm to slow the momentum down. Vancouver can start to go the other way, gain some possession of their own. But yeah, RGV starting to click on all cylinders a little bit, feeling very comfortable with this wind. But definitely utilizing my advice, in my opinion, you know, keeping the ball on the ground, letting it do the work. And again, if you're Vancouver, just be patient, bide your time. You don't mind giving up possession as long as they're not putting it in the back of the net.
Good point. Worth mentioning, Toros, very disciplined team. Only 27 yellow cards throughout this entire season. That's the fewest in the entire league.
Well, I think the biggest thing with the Toros is, you know, going forward, they've got a boatload of firepower. But early on in the season and kind of midway through, they really struggled to put the goals up on the board that they did last year. Last year, they had an outrageous goal differential of, don't quote me exactly, but something along the lines of plus 23 or plus 25 in that area. This year, you know, we talked about where they're sitting in the standings, and right now as we're talking, they are -8 in their goal differential. And actually, I see it here, they were +23 last year, so that's a big swing. They need to make sure that they're consistently putting balls in the back of the net.
Declan Wynn, the fullback for Vancouver, plays it now for the Whitecaps. Whitecaps trying to generate some offense here in the first 20. Good chance here as the cross was perfect, but the goalie, Brown, in position to cut it down.
Super, super impressive. Well done. Vancouver with their own little spell of their own came out of nowhere. RGV feeling a little snake bitten at this point in time. Able to come down, get to the byline, and knock it back. Very impressive by the youngsters.
Malguyer's a little shaken up after that collision. Here's one more look at the attack.
Very impressive getting down, and we talked about Marco Bustos. He was going to be an integral part. You see that little 1-2 asking for the ball back. Plays it back to his left foot. A nice little sitter on the 6-yard box. Callie Brown able to get his hands on it, though.
Ball was free on that last play. The goalie out of position, and it just squirts just to the right of the net.
Kyle Murphy not very happy at all, and having words with Luis Guardia. Said, I thought he got a touch and it went out of bounds. Kyle Murphy thought otherwise. He was asking for a corner, but he's not going to get it.
Here's James. Toros with a numbers edge here. Now attack from the right side. Joseph Holland does good work up there. Oh, off the head. And going right down will stop play immediately and bring on the medical staff. That did not look good.
He definitely went to ground right away. And one thing you'll notice in any sport, especially in soccer nowadays, anytime something happens with a head injury, they want to be extremely cautious and they want to be effective with their medical squad. Get him out right away, make sure the player's got proper treatment that he's taken care of.
You know, as much as we watch this great game, that is something that we rarely see. But when it does happen, definitely want to take all precautions, just as you stated. So we've halted action for the moment here in the 20th minute. With the player down on the field. As soon as we get a check as to who the player is, we will let you know. And it is number 42, David Norman. And one more look at the play.
Well, this is just before that. Oh, Kyle Murphy, I think he might have an argument there. Kyle Murphy got a nice little flick on his head, but I think Sean Melvin had his fingertips on it. There's another look. David Norman Jr. coming off the pitch. Took a nice little bell to the noggin. Saying, Coach, I'm okay. Throw me back out there. I'm ready to go back in.
You ever have that happen to you, Devin?
Unfortunately, quite a few times.
Really?
That's probably why I'm sitting here.
Can't be fun. Here's James. 2 seasons in the Jamaican Premier League. To his credit, as the Toros go to work once again. Good pass this time to Bird. Bird off his foot, didn't get a lot on it, as the goalie Melvin able to pick it up. And on the sidelines right now, David Norman being looked at by the medical staff of Vancouver.
Again, with the head injuries, they've got to go through the proper protocol and steps to make sure everything is kosher.
Here come the Toros, and here comes the flag. Offsides called this time on Murphy. What a week, though, Kyle Murphy has had. Selected to the USL Team of the Week for his performance last week. 2 goals and an assist to go with it. Player with really unlimited potential. Look at what he brings to the field for RGV. Now some room to run, time and space for Bustos. Good pass from the right side, the cross is there. Amanda, and the shot is taken, and we have a goal. The Whitecaps able to get on the board and draw first blood.
Wow. Wow. RGV being snake bitten here. Vancouver Whitecaps basically giving up all possession whatsoever. And you can see them just coming on the counter down the sideline. What an excellent job getting to the byline, knocking the ball back for Gloria Amanda. And you can see just capitalizing in any way, shape, or form that they can, knocking the ball in the back of the net.
It seemed like that ball just kind of rolled forever. And Vancouver able to go on top 1-0. I think the stadium here a little bit shocked after that play. Not well defended by the Toros of RGV.
Well, I'm sure the Stampede up in section 112 is having a few words with their friends down on the field. They're going to want much better out of their squad here tonight.
Whitecaps attacking once again. Defense a little disheveled for RGV as they'll get the ball right back here.
And I'll tell you what, that's another thing Junior Gonzalez has brought up in a lot of the conversations that I've had with him, where, you know, this RGV squad in the first 8 games of the season had only given up 5 goals. They were one of the stingiest defenses there was out there. And then over the stretch of the second part of the first half of the season, they just started giving up goals left and right, and you can see it now.
Right now, Bustos wreaking havoc, though. I'll tell you what, Bustos a very tough guy to mark. And he's a guy, when he decides to go, there's not a lot of players who can run with 32.
He's got such individual skill and the capability to break someone down when he goes one-on-one. That's not a skill that every player possesses. Some a little bit more possession-oriented, some more defensive-minded, but he definitely has the ability, and the sky's the limit for that young man.
Ball taken away again. Here's Gloria Amanda. Ball handling not very crisp right now for the Toros, on their heels just a bit. I think RGV still shocked from that last goal.
I would 100% agree with you. Vancouver's got them on their heels now, and they are running.
Here's Wharton. Tried to send it upfield. Another pass intercepted. And now Vancouver gaining confidence here in the Valley. Chris Serban. Serban able to shake free along that right side. Here's Bustos again. Tried to get it back that time. And they'll say it was off a Toro, so it'll stay with the Whitecaps. Drew Felios and Devin Kerr, great to have you with us here at HEB Park. Well, Mondays at 7 o'clock. Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, airing on Sirius XM channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM airs the USL Game of the Week. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. You know a busier guy than Mike Watts around the world of soccer? I don't.
What you know about Michael Watts, that man, very talented, all over the place, calling games left and right, destroying the Sirius satellite radio broadcast. He's got things going for him. Very impressed with him.
Destroying it in a good way.
In a very positive manner. He sunk my battleship.
How about Vancouver? An early goal by Declan Wynn, the fullback.
I'll tell you what, Drew, at the top of the broadcast, we talked about the talented outside backs of RGV and Justin Bilyeu and Kai Green and their ability to get up the field, but let's not sleep on Vancouver and give a little credit to Chris Serban and Declan Wynn. Declan Wynn doing a great job on that late run on the back end, Ball coming across the penalty mark and able to get in a goal against this very talented RGV squad, who, again, like you said, is stung.
Got to mention David Norman is back on the field for Vancouver, number 42. So good to see that he is okay and back to full strength, taking a shot to the face. Foot on ball right to his head about 10 minutes ago.
David Norman, only 19 years of age, spent a little time with the Canadian U15 national team. Dad was a professional player, bounced around as well.
Amanda sends it out. Here's the service in now, just over the head of Bustos, who got airborne. Serban tried to keep it in, unsuccessful, and it'll belong to the Toros. So the Toros trying to regain momentum of this game. Started out playing pretty good soccer, but Vancouver sort of taking control right now of momentum. Bustos, the great pass, and the shot a little bit high that time. Amanda was able to shake free and was one on run for an instant.
Once again, Gloria Amanda getting involved in things. Was the assist maker on that goal just a few minutes ago. Callie Brown definitely making his presence felt, letting that young man know, if you're going to come into my box, you better come a little bit stronger than that. Callie Brown coming out with a vengeance, making a solid save, forcing that tight angle.
Gloria Amanda, only 18 years old, another impressive youngster for Vancouver. Right now, Bustos is laying on the ground, a little bit shaken up.
Gloria Amanda's got such a great story. 2 goals and an assist this year. We're going to add to a second one, just got his second assist. He was actually born in a refugee camp in Tanzania, came to Edmonton at the age of 8, started to progress through the soccer ranks there. So again, another one who at the ripe old age of 18 years of age, sky's the limit for him as well.
See Bustos favoring his side right now. So this would be devastating for Vancouver if Bustos is not available the rest of the way. And the Toros being consoled by Junior Gonzalez. If you are RGV right now, what do you think the discussion should be, trailing 1-0 at home?
What's Junior saying, or what should the discussion be?
What should the discussion be?
The discussion should be, let's get back to what we were doing, because we were successful. When they were possessing the ball much better, moving the ball on the carpet, they moved it around very well. You know, the pitch was a lot wider for them. They were creating solid opportunities, but it almost seems like they started to play down a little bit, let Vancouver open up the game and bring it to them, which I said Vancouver needed to do to be successful. And then Vancouver got that goal, and since then they haven't had an answer for them.
Now Bustos slowly getting up. That's a good sign for the Whitecaps. You see Junior Gonzalez, and you can hear what he's saying. Trust the movement, trust and the decisions that we're making out there.
Yeah, he's someone who, we talked about patience. He'll tell you, boys, have discipline, trust the movement, trust the process. Junior's very big with Wilmer of the first team of buying into this process and buying into the system. And again, I think you saw an excellent display of that in the opening minutes of the game, but they've just faltered from that, and they need to get back to basics.
So Bustos comes off for Vancouver, I believe just temporarily.
Vancouver's got to be feeling pretty good right now. 32nd minute of the match, up 1-0 on the road. The record on the road is only 2-8-2, so they're very happy sitting there. And also, you've got 2 of your star players, Bustos and Norma Jr. going down, both of them being able to come back onto the pitch. So things are boding well early on for Whitecaps too.
That's amazing. Vancouver has not posted a win. They're past 11 matches. Mentioned the 2-month dry spell, but man, it's tough to suit up 11 times and not have the result you're looking for.
Haven't posted a win, giving up 1.5 goals a game. That's difficult, It's difficult enough to go on the road, yet alone when you've got those stats going against you.
Here's James. Sean Melvin comes up to play it for the Whitecaps. Nike Soccer, official sponsor of the USL. Soccer fans, Nike, the official sponsor. For more info, go to nikesoccer.com. 33rd minute. Toros trying to get back in it. This is the guy they want, Kyle Murphy, in stride. He goes down, and no whistle.
Kyle Murphy hoping for a little help from Luis Guardia, our head referee, but not getting it there. Thought maybe he might have blown the whistle, but choosing to let the boys play on.
Now, right now, Toros look a little bit frustrated. Such a festive environment down here in the valley. That section, always some fun stuff going on up there.
Yeah, there's the Stampede, section 112. Shout out to the Stampede. We see you guys. Keep on beating those drums. Love hearing them each and every match.
Whitecaps again. Trying to set up the cross. Got a little bit too far ahead that time.
You know, offside, but again, Whitecaps breaking down this backline of RGV. You could see David Norman having a great little body shift, turning the ball into the middle of the field, switching it over to the right side. Had a nice little cross in too, swung in from the right. Unfortunately, an offside position, but again, RGV on their heels, and they just cannot figure out a way to get these young kids to settle down. Very impressed by Vancouver.
Temperature on the field tonight about 86 degrees. Obviously feels a lot warmer than it is. We're now attacking from the left side. This is Bird. And the ball will go out of bounds. Sean Melvin will place it for a goal kick for Vancouver. Well, we invite you to follow us on Twitter at USL on Twitter. Also, stay up to date with all the latest league news and info by going to USLsoccer.com and follow on Twitter, of course, at USL.
Here, Guardia telling him, move the ball back here, having very specific conversations with all the players here this evening. Running a tight ship so far.
Mentioned the temperature earlier today. It was hovering about 100 degrees. And really, that's not nearly as hot as it can get down here in southern Texas.
It's the heat, the humidity. I'll tell you what, if you can play here, you can probably play anywhere. The toll that it takes on your body day in and day out in those training sessions. No disrespect to the teams from the north, but it's just a different animal when you got to play in this heat.
That certainly is. Toros possessing now. Playing out of the center circle. Send it left. Maguies have not called his name a lot for RGV. He's got to get more involved. Here's James. You know, sometimes the little pass just as important as the big pass. I don't think that Toros really understand that right now because the ball handling's been a little sloppy. Would you agree?
And there was a good depiction of it right there. You saw Jorginho James playing a little 5-yard ball over to Taylor Hunter. Not ready for it whatsoever.
Try and service this one.
And as the ball rolled out of bounds, Taylor Hunter looks back at Jorginho James with this mystified look of, hey, what are you doing? You know, let's all get on the same page. Right now, it seems that they're on the same page, but they're reading different books.
Yeah, that's why Junior Gonzalez was saying trust each other during the timeout. Bilyeu sends it in. Here's James, time and space to work as he sends it right of the goal.
Drew, you weren't kidding. You were asking for more out of Ivan Magalhaes coming out of the back, and it's a nice long run for the center back there. You won't see it too often in this day and age, but he's definitely got the offensive capability to do so. Nice little 1-2, getting in, had a strike to the back post, but couldn't finish it off. Take another look again. Magalhaes receiving the ball back from the left wing. Wanted to line one up from about 20 yards out, but just as you're running down and he had already taken the touch inside, coming across the body, you'd like to see him either pull that ball out or bring it onto his right foot. Body a little off center, hence why it sailed right of the goal.
Here's Bilyeu. Bilyeu being marked very tightly. That ball goes out and should be a throw and coming up here. Magalhaes draws the whistle. So coming up on intermission, Vancouver with a 1-0 lead over the Toros of RGV. Look at the possession numbers. That's why I think RGV a little stunned that they're not at least equalized in this game so far.
Well, and to be fair, I think that number has started to creep back up. RGV, you know, surrendering some possession to Whitecaps too. In the previous 10 minutes, we've seen a little bit different of a spell over the past 2 to 3. RGV starting to settle down a little bit. But again, you know, you got to go back to Junior Gonzalez's words of trust the process, trust each other. You know, let the ball do the work. These tiny little passes you're referencing, be a little bit more crisp. And the other thing you got to remember is after the next 6 minutes and a little bit of extra time we might get, they got to go against the wind in the second half. So you want to utilize this as best as possible before you got to turn around and go the other direction.
Here's Kastner. Kastner taken down. Well, David Norman came up, being really physical, surprising consider the knock that he took earlier on in the first half.
For sure, and also David Norman, although young, very smart, very talented. You don't want to give up a turnover like that, giving RGV a very dangerous free kick from about 30, 35 yards out right now. I'll tell you what, with the wind, if it was me, I'd like to see someone have a go at goal right now. You haven't really tested Sean Melvin too much. The way he's lined up, you're probably going to see an in-swinger to the back post, but you would really like to see something be put on frame here, and again, keep Sean Melvin honest back there.
So free kick coming up, Joseph Holland on top of it for the Toros. Too much air that time, and again, not taking advantage of the opportunity when it's presented.
Joseph Holland doesn't get to do a lot of their dead ball situations. You'll see the likes of Jose Escalante step onto a lot of those. Unfortunately, not on the pitch here this evening, but you know, you got to do better when you're given those opportunities.
Whitecaps, another opportunity to attack here. Here's Bustos, so dangerous. Atop the 18, slid this one back. Here's the shot on the ground that time. And Chris Serban just did not get a good strike. Kelly Brown right there in position.
No, but again, there's the outside backs of Vancouver getting around the outside. You know, RGV, whether they floated in and out of this game, they still don't have an answer for Vancouver coming forward.
Now it's James. Here's Bilyeu. Not in sync right now are the Toros, and it is showing. Guy Green, the left back, former Seton Hall product out of South Orange, New Jersey. Toros trying to slow things down right now and wait for the right moment. James sends it now far side. Bilyeu along the touchline. Get physical right there, and the official steps right in, as that was Cole Seiler. Well, he let Kyle Murphy really have it that time.
You haven't really called Kyle Murphy's name too much. A couple little runs into the corner. They'd like to see more out of him here this evening, but again, another very dangerous situation for Vancouver and an opportunity for RGV to get level just before halftime.
Junior Gonzalez looking on. His team trailing 1-0. 43rd minute. Send this one in the box, and the header was a good idea on it, as Magoyes was the guy on point, a little bit high, and we'll have a corner kick coming up.
You can see after that last free kick, TJ Kasner telling Joseph Holland, hey, I'm going to step up and hit this one. Nice little ball swung in right around the penalty mark. And again, the very tall and talented Ivan Magalhaes trying to get up and head it down. RGV with another dangerous corner opportunity here.
This is Kasner. Magoyes, so they wanted contact that time. I think they had a point.
Definitely a little pushing and shoving, but very difficult in a situation like that for head referee Luis Guardia to give a PK.
So much going on in the box, isn't there?
There's so much going on. You know, there's always going to be pushing and shoving. People are always going to be bodying each other. When there's real intent and you're holding and bringing someone down, you know, then that's when the referee is going to have to go to his cards, maybe go, go to his whistle and possibly go to his cards. But I think in a situation like that, you know, it's not really a goal-scoring opportunity, and I think you let them play on like he did.
Another opportunity for Vancouver. Bustos able to create a little bit of space. Here's the second shot. It nearly scored it inside that near post. Great job of not giving up on it that time by number 54, Gloria Amanda.
Once again, Gloria Amanda stepping up. That's the third time we've called his name that tonight. All in goal-scoring opportunities. Here's another good look. Ball scored it out. Tries to actually knock it back across, takes a deflection, and very well done by the talented Callie Brown, getting to the near post, making a nice save.
And our first substitution, rather 4 minutes stoppage time named. So 4 minutes stoppage time coming up here. Torres able to get it back. Joseph Holland working now. Eric Bird with him as well.
I'll tell you what, Drew, from a learning standpoint, I'm always interested to hear what goes on during the dressing rooms, what tactical changes are being made. I would not want to be a fly on the wall in the RGV dressing room at this halftime. I'm sure Junior Gonzalez is going to have a few choice words for his boys. Again, so talented. And so much at stake for them to climb the ladder and gain 3 points here this evening, and just not having a great showing so far.
This can be one of those games where you look back when the season is done. If you miss a postseason spot by maybe a game or two, you're going to circle this one and say, that's the one that we should have had. Still, we're not even a half done yet. Still plenty of football to be played, but it has not been vintage Toros soccer up to this point.
100% agree with you, and credit to Vancouver on the reverse side of things. Rich Fagan and his squad, although giving up possession here and there, they've done very well going forward. They've got a recipe for excellence because they've been able to break down the RGV backline multiple times, almost at a moment's notice. So I'm sure going into halftime, you probably won't see as many changes from them coming out, but you got to be real curious what Junior Gonzalez is going to do tactically to turn these things around.
Here's Holland. Holland eluding defenders for the moment. Gave it up though. Now Gloria Amanda Amanda's played well for Vancouver. Also Marco Bustos playing with a lot of confidence here tonight. Thomas Gardner has also showed some heart for Whitecaps too. Toros trying to get a good look here before intermission. And are we going to have a whistle here? It appears so.
I think we're going to get a card as well. David Norman Jr. trying to backtrack, laying chase to TJ Kasner. Unfortunately, in a situation like that, you leave your feet from behind the player. Even if you get a touch of the ball, he definitely got a lot of the player as well, forcing Luis Guardia's hand here in the closing moments of the first half, showing the yellow. And I'd be really surprised now, Drew, if they don't have a go at goal. The past two free kicks, again, one kind of sailed to the back post, not the greatest delivery. TJ Kasner shifting over to the left-hand side, knocking a solid ball in. But again, from this distance and this range, you gotta have a strike.
Wall formed by Vancouver. Norman with the card, 49th minute. That ball does not get past the wall. Now Kai Green tied up midfield with Amanda. James sends it down. Justin Bilyeu. Holland hesitates for just a moment. Gonna get one online here and shoot it just high. Todd Wharton with the blast.
Wow, Todd Wharton, you'll see him as a holding midfielder who was sitting in positions like that and tend to track forward here and there. Ball starting to dip a little bit at the end. Unfortunately, he couldn't get it to drop further.
That will bring us to the end of the first half. Down in the valley, RGV a little bit shocked as they leave the field. They trail 1-0 to the Whitecaps 2 from Vancouver. Halftime festivities coming up here, USL Soccer on a Saturday night in South Texas.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
We'll do the crowd, show the score, then we'll do stats.
Welcome back here to the Valley, and a 1-0 score so far as Vancouver leads RGV. Big surprise here through one half of play. The big story, Vancouver has not won in over 2 months. Right now with the lead over an RGV team that desperately needs this contest to stay in playoff contention. There's the numbers. Toros getting the shots they're looking for. What's missing though, Devin?
I see, right there on screen, the biggest thing you're going to see is they've got 8 shots, but only 1 on target. I keep referencing the fact that they've got to keep Sean Melvin honest in between the pipes back there. They haven't really tested him that much. On the reverse side of things, you can see Vancouver, they've only got 4 shots compared to RGV's 8, but 3 out of the 4 are on target, and that's what they need to do. Vancouver, much more impressive going forward, getting behind the back line of RGV, getting to the byline, knocking the ball back, and for them that's resulted in a 1-0 uppage, if you will, at halftime, excuse me.
And for Vancouver, the 1 goal scored by Declan Wynn, the New Zealander, coming through to give Vancouver the edge. The visitors on top 1-0. We are back to the Valley in just a moment.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
James Outland and Morgan Copes from the leadership of Birmingham, Alabama's 2019 USL expansion side recently visited the league offices. Announced as the first expansion team for 2019, Outland and Copes share in the excitement as the club begins to work towards its inaugural season.
Well, first and foremost, I think we're going to have a great product. We're going to have a professional environment. We're going to have a competitive team, and not just competitive, we want to win. So I think the competition and the level of play on the field is going to be top-notch, and I think the experience at the stadium and for the fans is going to be equally impressive.
What excites me about being in the USL in 2019 is it's a dream come true. I mean, this is something that, there's a group of guys and individuals who have put a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, everything that you can think of from a grassroots perspective, startup, to see it come to fruition, when this whole thing really kind of started from, just a couple beers at a local brewery. This whole idea, to see it come to fruition, it's going to be incredible.
What excites us about joining the USL is, first, Birmingham needs a professional sports team. And we think soccer is the ideal sport for Birmingham. It's a great growing sport across the country. And as importantly, the USL has really been a successful league. They've done a phenomenal job. We've done our research. We've been working on this for over 2 years now. And we really chose the USL because we think it's the best league and one of the best sports in the world. And we think Birmingham is primed to become a great professional soccer town.
It's going to be a fun, fast, exciting atmosphere. I mean, the game of soccer itself is always very exciting, to watch live, just because of the speed of play, the physicality, the toughness that goes into it. But, I also think we're going to have a great, fun family atmosphere.
Well, it's been a great opportunity to come and get better familiarized with the people behind the league and get to meet the folks that we work with on a weekly and ongoing basis, and really get our ducks in a row and be ready to launch for our 2019 beginning of the season.
The wealth of knowledge, the information, and just the organization around the entire organization itself is incredible. The professionalism is second to none. And I'm excited about getting to meet the people and put faces to names. There's an old quote, nobody cares what you know until they know you care. So I really look forward to establishing those relationships with league officers and just the people in and around here.
For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
1-0 score here in the Valley. RGV trailing Vancouver. And we want to tell you about our ESPN3 Game of the Week. Louisville City takes on Harrisburg. Harrisburg City, the Islanders, will be the visitor in that one. That's coming up this Wednesday. Should be fun on ESPN3. More coming up from halftime. We'll get you ready for the second half when we return.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
Surprising night so far in the Valley. Vancouver with a 1-0 lead over Rio Grande Valley. Drew Felios alongside Devin Kerr. Thrilled to have you along for the ride. Not much to cheer about so far for Toros fans. They started out with some opportunities. Good job of creating them. Unable to finish in the opening minutes, though, as you take a look at both teams coming out on the field.
Now, RGV coming out of the dressing room very well and composed. You could see early on Justin Bilyeu trying to test Sean Melvin. I said you needed to keep the goalkeeper honest. Nice little dipping shot. Sean Melvin doing a good job of making a nice save. And Vancouver, again, kind of countering with their own punches, jabs here and there, making their way down the field very efficiently as well. And then RGV and Kyle Murphy trying to get in on the act. Murphy thought maybe the goalkeeper had a deflection. I would probably agree with it. Referee said no, and we just continue to move back and forth.
Toros here. Eric Bird on the ground, did not get the strike he was looking for. Bustos came right back, and this is the play that left us scratching our heads. Amanda leaves it, and it gets taken care of by Declan Wynn.
And again, I referenced the very talented outside backs of RGV at the beginning of the broadcast, and we were sleeping on Vancouver because Vancouver worked the ball down the field very nicely into the channel. You see Gloria Amanda making a great run, knocking it back across the box to the far post, and Johnny on the spot. Declan Wynn, a great finish into the bottom corner to put his team up 1-0.
Seems like that ball stayed on the ground forever. Whitecaps able to take the early edge. Bustos also wreaking havoc, and I'll tell you what, Gloria Amanda, they had the Toros scratching their heads for a while.
The Toros were definitely stunned. They did not have an answer offensively at all in the first half, and they were on their heels. Towards the closing parts of the second half, you started to see a little bit of ingenuity. RGV starting to mix things up a little bit. Everybody getting in on the act. As you can see here, their center back, Ivan Magalhaes, when you get frustrated, sometimes people tend to come out of the woodwork, and that's great. But again, Vancouver knocking on the door, working. Thought you might see something else before halftime. There was a great chance by Magalhaes. We talked about his excellent heading capability. Then Vancouver trying to counter one more time. You saw Gloria Mandy, once again, his third chance of the first half, having a little knock across the box, took a deflection to the near post. Callie Brown with a great save.
Look at the upcoming schedule for Vancouver. Boy, a win tonight would just be huge. She'll look the rest of the way for the confidence, if not for anything else. San Antonio, LA, Tulsa, OKC, Orange County. Really no easy games in that stretch for Whitecaps. And on the other side for RGV, take on Real, Portland, Galaxy, Los Dos, Sacramento, and Reno as well. So the toughest part of the schedules for both of these clubs very much here in the next month.
For sure, and with regard to RGV, Junior Gonzalez saying, we've got a couple games here that we should be able to pick up points. I think maybe he was thinking down the road, which you try not to do. He always says one game at a time, but he's specifically referencing the Vancouver, Portland, and game versus Los Dos on September 3rd. Unfortunately, he's got to get by Vancouver first, so definitely going to have to make some tactical changes here at halftime and get the job done first here before moving on to the Real Monarchs.
All right, here's the standings now. In the Eastern Conference, which team has really stood out to you this year? I had a chance to see Charlotte last week, also Louisville City. I'm going to have a chance to take a look at them tomorrow. Also, the Rowdies, saw them last week as well. What about you, Devin? Who stands out right now to you?
I think from a playing standpoint and tactically, Charlotte Independence have been the most impressive in my opinion. They've been the most improved as well. Getting involved, we saw Charleston Battery and Louisville City firing on all cylinders, jumping out of the gates off to an early lead, but Charlotte just so talented, and they slowly made their way back. They played their game, and you can see it. They've started to get more wins, and they moved their way up to the table, sitting in first place as we speak.
It's funny, too. Had a chance to see Charlotte against Ottawa last week, and Ottawa thoroughly dominated the Independents. That just shows you the parity that we have this year in this league.
Yeah, for sure. And sitting in that situation, even though they're 16 points ahead, in that Ottawa still had 2 games in hand, so they really could have only been 10 ahead, and that's almost 3 games.
Western Conference, Real right now with 16 wins atop the heap. Swope Park also having a solid year. San Antonio as well. Who's the best of the bunch here, would you say?
I think you definitely got to go with Real Monarchs. You might have a sleeper in San Antonio, and you may get someone creeping in that can put up goals like an S2 or a Sacramento. But in my personal opinion, I think the Eastern Conference is going to be taking the entire thing this year.
Oh, interesting. So Rio Grande Valley trying to threaten for a postseason spot. There's the USL power rankings. Real, of course, the class of the league. Louisville City, Reno tied for second place. Charlotte really has been the story over the past month. They've just played fabulous soccer, just had their first setback last week in quite a while. As you get a look at the Toros, Ruben Luna likely to see action here in the second half for RGV. Also Francisco Pungo on loan from Colombia. Tremendous speed he is going to bring to the lineup, and you know what? I like these moves from Junior Gonzalez. Take a look at a guy like Francisco Pungo. He is the spark perhaps that this team needs.
Very offensive-minded substitutions. You've got Joseph Holland coming off not the greatest shift out of that young man in the first half. Some lackadaisical service. Didn't see a lot of end-to-end stuff from him. Looks like Kyle Murphy's going to be sitting down as well, if I'm not mistaken. I see him taking his seat for the evening. But again, 2 very offensive-minded changes. Fresh legs, got fresh spark like you said, and I think you're going to see a lot more firepower from RGV in the second half.
Big challenge though for the Toros, especially if you're just joining us as well. Stiff wind here tonight at HEB Park, and it's blowing from right to left, so the Toros, the home team, will be going against that wind here in the second half. So Vancouver in the all blue, RGV in the orange, and we're underway here, half number 2.
I think if you're RGV having to fight uphill both versus the wind as well as the score sheet, you're going to want to come out and make a statement almost immediately. Try and get something going from an offensive standpoint. Move the ball up the pitch, test the goalkeeper, and really figure out what this wind is going to do to you for the next 45 minutes.
RGV will work from the right side, TJ Kastner. Kastner, room to run, leaves it for Green. Green, the nice service. And a push from behind. So an early whistle here to start the second half.
That's exactly what you want to see. Kai Green getting down in the channel, serving a nice ball across the box. Unfortunately, nobody on the end of it, but again, coming out quick, coming out strong. Vancouver gonna have to do a little bit of early defending on this set piece.
Mentioned the size edge of the Toros tonight, the home team. Not really been able to use it to their advantage. Let's see if they can do it here. Kasner to put it in play. Now dead on. Wharton was open, shot it high.
Todd Wharton has got a really strong right foot. Former NCAA champion out of Virginia. There's a couple on that squad here. Callie Brown, as well as Eric Bird, all played together, won the College Cup back in 2014. Great idea. Something they definitely practice on the training ground, but just not well executed.
Up to this point, Sean Melvin has not had to do an awful lot for Vancouver. The shots that the Toros have had have just not been anywhere close to being online. And that is very uncharacteristic of RGV. Vancouver now trying to turn it upfield. Wharton comes from behind to take it away.
Andrew, I mean, out of the 8 shots in the first half, the only thing that was really any threat to Sean Melvin back there whatsoever was the first strike we saw. And that was from Justin Bilyeu coming into the middle of the field, having that long-range effort from about 35 yards out that was dipping and knuckling into the bottom corner. Sean Melvin making a good save, but like you said, since then, we've seen a couple efforts from Todd Wharton, 2 or 3 over the bar. Magalhaes came up the pitch, had one wide. Eric Bird sent one over the bar. So again, even when they're coming up the field, they're not putting anything on the frame. So, you know, it's not going to benefit you whatsoever. You got to put something up there, and you got to test the goalkeeper.
Absolutely. Oh, nice ball won that time by Norman. Norman sets it ahead. Amanda trying to get by the back line of that defense. That's a good play by Magalhaes to recover it. James now. Nice pass ahead. Just outside the 18, trying to squirt himself in there. Lost the ball. And the Toros still trying to look for that perfect opportunity.
That's better though, Drew. You know, you see Jorginho James, very talented holding midfielder, plays a nice out-swinging ball into Ruben Luna. Kind of thought Ruben Luna would have liked to take that off his chest, brought it down in front of him, giving him an immediate opportunity to strike the ball. Opting to bring it down with his feet instead, but again, RGV a little bit better so far.
Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Monday, 7 o'clock, Sirius XM FC, Channel 85. And it looks like we're gonna have a yellow card here served up.
Jorginho James getting a little rough and tough on that tackle. Vancouver moving the ball up the pitch. And Jorginho just using that big frame of his to take him down.
So James served up the yellow card here in the 50th minute. Second yellow card of the match. Got a yellow on Norman, and now James drawing one. Here 5 minutes into half number 2. From the Valley, South Texas, Drew Felios, Devin Kerr. Toros trying to get something going here. Here's James, touches this one, got by one defender, doesn't get by the next. Kai Green. Everybody touching right now for the Toros. Possessions have been solid. The finishes have been anything but. Here's Green. Kasner now. Now it's James. Aguilles sends it far side. This one, service in, headed out by Cole Saylor.
See RGV starting to gain a little confidence on the ball, moving it from side to side. But again, like you said, Drew, if RGV is going to be able to put anything in the back of the net tonight, they're going to need someone to step up and take the reins offensively and try and get a little bit more creative to break this back line down.
Kastner, the in-swinger. Corner kicks tonight brought to you by HEB. Counter opportunity now for Vancouver. David Norman leaves it along the touchline, working his way up as Wynn. Wynn has the lone goal tonight for Vancouver. David Norman has spent some time on the turf here tonight. This time it is his left leg.
You can hear Rich Fagan yelling in the background, having a discussion with his assistant referee. Jorginho James coming in late on David Norman. You got to be really careful here. Jorginho James sitting on a yellow card. You would hate to see him get his second and be sent off.
So James served up a warning here. You can hear the chatter on the field right now. Almost word for word. It's very interesting to hear these two coaches work the officials, isn't it?
Oh, I love Junior Gonzalez's comment just now. Rich Fagan having words saying, referee, it's from behind, and Junior Gonzalez saying, ref, don't let him scream at you. You gotta love the professional camaraderie on the sidelines.
And sometimes just because you're the guy not warned doesn't mean you're not going to draw the next yellow.
That's right.
Eric Bird, the recipient.
Eric Bird coming in late. Another yellow card going into the book. He's another one who's got so much potential. Just tends to float in and out of games at times, which is what we're seeing here tonight.
Both teams a little out of sync at the moment. If you are Vancouver, Devin, do you try and just sit back on this the rest of the way?
Yeah, it's a good question, Drew. I think previous results, being on the road, hostile environment, I think you probably want to sit a little bit more than you were. I would stick to their game plan at this point in time because you've got the wind with you as well. So I'm not telling them to push up the park, but in the first half, for the most part, their game plan, they sat, they let the game come to them, and then they took their counterattacking opportunities only when RGV had presented the opportunity for them to do so. So I think Vancouver needs to stick it out right now. But when you get into that 20-25 minute mark, you probably want to close down the back a little bit more.
Leave it right side, another tie-up. And that has got to be a whistle. And this will be a yellow card. So the yellows piling up right now. That's the fourth one of the match. And Francis DeVries, the center back, the guilty party.
He just looked at the referee, all center backs. He said, and I quote verbatim, I didn't do anything. None of us ever do anything wrong. He was saying, what was I supposed to do? I didn't do anything. Chasing down, Francis, I think you're caught red-handed there, my friend. Your hand is in the cookie jar, and you brought Ruben Luna down for sure.
Defense now gets set for Vancouver. Chance to reset for the Toros. Stick this one in. Inside the 18. And this one rolls out of bounds. Let's see if we got a corner kick. Or will it go to the other side here? Now it's James. James, good job. Trying to create an opportunity. Toros let the ball squirt free. Toros attacking again. Top of your screen now. Well, hesitation this time from Bilyeu. I think maybe a little bit too much thinking that time, not enough reacting at the right time. James, got to be careful. A little frustrated there. Norman able to stay on his feet.
And credit to Ivan Magalhaes a second ago, backtracking on the left-hand side of the field. Excellent tackle to prevent Bustos from gaining possession and Vancouver going the other way.
Toros trying to pick up the tempo here. Kastner couldn't get in front. Thomas Sander lets it roll past the touchline.
Very surprised the referee did not blow the whistle in that situation. TJ Gasner getting very cute. Nice little nutmeg, tried to get around the player, but little push off by Declan Wynn, got away with one there.
So not much offense here in the second half for Vancouver. Toros trying to ignite something.
Very good defending by Chris Serban. Pungo is so quick, so precise. Serban not faltering to the challenge in that situation.
Todd Wharton goes down that time for the Toros. RGV looking for some sort of spark here. Keep in mind the Toros coming off a 1-1 draw to the Phoenix Rising. And a big win before that over Seattle back on August the 6th. Gone 3 matches without a loss, trying to make it 4 here. And a good chance, again across, nobody home to attempt to finish.
But that's better, they're doing good. You know, that was much better from them, utilizing the space better. Ball coming into Eric Bird, knocking it down into the channel. So, Justin Bilyeu, getting around on the left-hand side and played a great cross across the box, but unfortunately Ruben Luna not anticipating that coming in. You know, unfortunately RGV and a lot of the players, as we mentioned before, they're just not on the same page here tonight.
Now it's green. Well, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, go to NikeSoccer.com. Glory Amanda working right now for Vancouver. He has posed some problems tonight for the back line of RGV.
A thorn in their side for sure.
They throw it for Vancouver. Chris Serban gets up off the ground. So, interim coach Steve Medley for Vancouver. Right now his team leading 1-0. This would be a huge feather in his cap if they can somehow hang on for the victory on the road. Keep in mind they have not won in over 2 months. Kai Green clears it. Ball got inside the 6 that time. Last win for Vancouver was over the Portland Timbers back on June 4th. Summer had not even officially started yet. Seems like ages ago.
What's crazy to think about, Drew, is they're currently sitting at 4-12-6. At that point in time, they were 4-5-2, so much better form at that point in time, sitting pretty in the table, and obviously their fortunes have gone in a different direction since then.
Will Seymour, good job of recovery that time. And the ball squirts ahead. Declan Wynn couldn't catch up to it. Now the 62nd minute. USL, one of the most prominent second division pro leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date by going to uslsoccer.com, and also follow the USL on Twitter at USL. Drew Felios, Devin Curry here at HEB Park, down in the Valley. Vancouver coming here from the north, where the conditions obviously a lot different year-round. They have looked at home, though, playing here in the Texas heat. Headed up now, Amanda in the vicinity, chased down by Callie Brown.
Very smart by the center back, Magalhaes again. You know, a little pressure on his right-hand shoulder. 50-50 ball coming up, and instead of rising up and trying to head the ball out, very smart, just flicks it over his left side. Callie Brown more than happy to take possession there.
RGV content to possess here. Kai Green. The attack has been uncertain all night long. Not had good looks at the goal. And the few times they have, those balls have not been centered up. Take a look at the shots on target.
Interestingly enough, Drew, that number has been the same since halftime, so things settled down a little bit here in the second half.
Kai Green has really been working for RGV, and you can just tell he's kind of playing at a different speed as his teammates as the ball goes off the foot of Francisco Pongo.
Now, unfortunately, his teammates aren't catching up. Kai Green has, shifted into another gear, but when you got to do that, you can't do this game all on your own. This is definitely a team sport. Kai Green proving that he's more than willing to put in an extra effort and change his efforts tonight. But you'd like to see the likes of Eric Bird, TJ Kasner get on the same page, start doing the same thing.
And again, you see the little passes just not on point. Is that perhaps a sign of rust, or just a sign that maybe it's just not one of your nights? Let's see here how this play develops. Nearly had a good chance there inside the box.
Sometimes, Drew, unfortunately, the magic's not there. No matter how good you are or how rested you are, you can blame it on rust. You can blame it on ill-timed training sessions, the heat, the elements, obviously. But then there's the days where you can have all the possession in the world, have all the shots in the world, a million different opportunities, and you just can't put it in the back of the net.
James able to recover. Toros going to have to really fight their way back into this one. Clearly not playing their best football here. RGV will throw it in. Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, Sirius XM, FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget USL Game of the Week on Sirius XM FC. Check uslsoccer.com for dates and times. There's Amanda again. Ball be placed down by Brown.
I'll tell you what, RGV not being able to find their perfection of form this evening, but Vancouver goes to show you kids at home, you don't always have to win the possession battle. I talked about it. They're more than willing to give that up and sit back. But when they go forward, they are very direct They are very calculated, and it's shown both statistically and professionally, and they're leading 1-0 in the 66th minute.
Yep. Middle of the field now. Pungo sends it back. James sends it far side. Where is the offense going to come from for RGV? Sneaking in, the shot taken, and it sails just high. That was the best shot, though, the Toros have had in quite a while.
Yeah, that's definitely probably the second best effort we've seen all game. Definitely the best effort of this half from the Toros. Moving the ball around the pitch, and you can see TJ Kasner deciding to go one-on-one himself, beating his defender, touching it inside, and just over the top of the bar.
Crowd trying to get behind the home Toros. And a couple substitutions set to come into the game. Terran Campbell, number 61. Also Michael Baldissimo, 17-year-old center mid. So Michael Baldissimo, his brother Matthew Baldissimo, also on this Vancouver team. And coming out now is going to be Thomas Gardner.
Well done by Thomas Gardner tonight. We didn't hear a lot of him putting shots up on goal or anything like that, but he frustrated the back line of RGV, did a good job of creating space for his teammates, and he was an integral part of opening up that goal for them in the first half.
Now Gloria Amanda also set to come out. This guy did a heck of a job. Another youngster, only 18 years old. Do some pitch work before he exits the contest.
Solid shift by Gloria Amanda as well. Steve Medley choosing to bring a two-way midfielder into the game, sit one of his talented forwards down. We talked about maybe trying to solidify things defensively a little bit better. And I said you'd probably see that right around the 25-minute mark or so. Well, look, we got 23 minutes to go. So Vancouver making the tactical changes they need to down the stretch here.
Quick counter attempt by the Toros. Here's Bird. Cut off once again. Those crosses have not quite been on target here tonight. James trying to creep up. Can he get a shot off? Leaves it right. Bird up in the air. Ball hangs around, the shot taken, and it's in! TJ Kasner with the blast, and we are equalized at one apiece.
Finally, RGV able to break down Vancouver. You could see them getting, the frustration was mounting. They're able to break the deadlock. Ball swung outside to Eric Bird. Knocks a great ball to the back post. You can see the communication between Ruben Luna and Justin Bilyeu lacking. But Bilyeu able to get on the end of the ball, knock the ball back. They both look at each other, ball kind of floating out in space. TJ Kasner said, thank you very much. Knocks it into the back, and he's gonna dab his way all the way back to the center circle, 1-1.
So count a goal in the 70th minute for TJ Kasner on a night where things have been so out of sync. Finally, it starts to make sense for the Toros.
Yeah, the Stampede starting to get back into this game. Streamers flying, flags waving. You're gonna see a lot more energy out of RGV now. 20 minutes to go, they're still in this game. And if you're Vancouver, you need to be real careful this doesn't bite you and get away from you. You've worked so hard for so long. You would hate to see it go the other way.
Now it's Wynn trying to work against Kai Green. Green wins that battle. Keep in mind, this is the second straight game the Toros have had a key late goal. They did against Phoenix last week to tie that one up and leave with a 1-1 draw. Here's Pungo. He has got some room to work. Sneaks one by, tried to go far post. the ball keeps on carrying, and if it wasn't for a little deflection off the foot, it could easily be a 2-1 Toros lead.
That's a phenomenal save by Sean Melvin. We talked about Pungo's speed and his capability to get down the pitch, taking full advantage of it right here. You kind of thought he might knock the ball back, but getting very clever with that left foot, going for the far post. Sean Melvin going to ground, making an excellent save.
It's amazing just how fast momentum can change. RGV was flat just moments ago, and then just like that, the big goal by Kastner. And they have got new life.
Like you said just a second ago, praising and heralding Vancouver's efforts and their ability to stay patient and stay reserved. Fortunately, a little offensive spell ending up going the other way, and RGV showing the prowess and the patience to be able to break them down. And Junior Gonzalez going to his bench once again.
Here's Victor Garza. Garza set to check in for RGV. James will exit. James had kind of a tough night for the home team as Garza comes in to replace him. James, of course, gathering the yellow card. Kind of played cautiously all night long, did not fully get in to this contest, but take a look at Garza. He's played in Mexico, he's played in Turkey. This is his first full season in the United States, trying to make the most of it for RGV.
And also an academy player with the Columbus Crew, and I think what Junior Gonzalez here is doing two things. Number one, like you said, we didn't get the most out of Jorginho James this evening. Usually a much better and prolific midfielder, a mainstay, if you will, helping maestro the center of the park, moving the ball around, helping call in the shots in there. We didn't see that a lot, making a lot of mistakes on the defensive side of the ball, picking up that yellow card. Very lucky to not get a second. So I think that combined with the fact that Junior Gonzalez is trying to get some more offensive firepower out there. So an understandable change, rightfully so. I probably would have made the same one, and he's gonna have one more talk here with his boys in the closing moments before they get back out there and try and finish this thing off.
This an exhausting night to play, because not only do you play in the Texas heat, but you've got that stiff wind on the field all night long, and that wind doesn't necessarily make it cooler like it usually should, does it?
Definitely not. That dry Texas heat, it blows. The temperatures go from 80 to 90 in an instant. We talked about the humidity. It's going to be very high. Again, everybody just kind of get a quick drink before they get back out there. And you got to wonder what's in store in the next 16 minutes.
2 goals, one by Declan Wynn by Vancouver, the other for TJ Kastner right there, the guy you're looking at. Look at the shot differential, only 4 for Vancouver. Toros registering 13, but most of them have been offline here tonight. 75th minute in the Valley. Well, soccer fans, Nike's an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, go to NikeSoccer.com. Nike, the official sponsor of the USL. Ball won by Serban. See if Vancouver can get another good opportunity here in this match. Here's Wynn. Good pass and room to attack now for Norman. Shot that one right off a Toro defender. Victor Garza, the fresh legs. Kastner now. There is nobody that the Toros would like it in possession of than TJ Kastner. Makes great decisions. He's certainly done that tonight.
Unfortunately for TJ Kastner, his supporting cast haven't really stepped up for their roles and helped him out too much.
Here's Kastner again. Had to kind of run around the official that time. Eric Bird has it now. Bird will try and service it in a little bit high. And it'll be played by Vancouver. Collision. And official immediately steps in. We got a whistle. I'm not sure about that one. That was very, very close.
I'd definitely like to see that again for sure as well. And I was just about to make the comment that Francisco Pungo coming on as a substitute, very lethargic in his efforts just before that tackle, kind of watching the ball sail over his head, not chasing it down, and then all of a sudden coming in. Yeah, I think that's a good tackle in my book. He goes to the ground, he gets there first, he wins the ball. Referee's probably with his angle not happy because he went in studs up. I'm a little bit more old school, a little bit more rough and tumble type stuff, so I probably wouldn't have blown the whistle there.
It was Sander on the tackle. Now the Toros will track it down here with just over 13 minutes left in regulation. Victor Garza. There's the possession numbers. Decisive edge to the Toros.
Just continuously creeping up. 63 to 37. I mean, that is a major difference. But again, knotted at one, so not the end of the world.
Now it's Norman. Took a shot to the face early on in the first half. He has really gutted this one out from start to finish. Well, the USL, one of the most prominent second division pro leagues in the world. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and info by going to uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. What a year it has been for this fabulous league. Look at the attendance around the league. Look at the expansion that is going on. The caliber of players that is coming to play USL soccer. I mean, it has really been fun in 2017, hasn't it?
I had the great pleasure of calling the Orange County Phoenix game last night. Orange County opening up their brand new park. What a spectacular venue it is. Going through all the development out there, new ownership. Championship Stadium making its debut last night, 5,000 seats. I mean, super cool. And then you get the likes of FC Cincinnati playing their way up through the US Open Cup, ending their run most recently. Devastating 3-2 loss, but it really is awesome to see the growth of this league.
Had a chance to call a couple great matches last week with Tampa Bay and St. Louis. St. Louis came back to win that game in thrilling fashion. Then also Ottawa, the way they really put it on Charlotte, one of the surprise games in the league last week.
And you said it, Drew, one of the coolest things is you know, the difference between, we talked about it, Charlotte and Ottawa, such a difference squad-wise, playing potential, points on the table, and yet they're also still close together and grouped together as one. So it's nice to see that even though there's a disparity, they're all very similar as well.
It's amazing, too, how playing surface really affects the style, the tempo in this league.
You go from these pitches that are 130 by 75, natural grass, pressed Bermuda, ball moves very pitch perfectly, sits nice and tight like an excellent carpet, and then you go to the artificial grass where it just moves 100 miles an hour. You got the pellets flying all over.
And now Matthew Baldissimo checking in. You see David Norman. If anybody deserves a high five, it's number 42. He really played tough tonight.
Very impressive from David Norman. It looks like we're going to see both Baldissimo brothers this evening. Sure, if you're the parents of those two young men, you got to be very proud with their outcome so far.
Exactly what we thought. By the end of the match, the brothers would be on the field together, and that is the case right now for Vancouver. So Matthew, 19 years old, Michael, 17 years old, both center mids. 81st minute, equalized at 1.
Little love tap by TJ Kasner.
Yeah. Vancouver has not had much of a heartbeat offensively here in the second half. And that ball winds up into the hands of Callie Brown.
Drew, you brought up the disparity between the shot differences. You know, RGV having so many 13 at one point in time and 3 on target, and Vancouver still sitting with 4 and 3 on target, which they had at halftime when we were doing the statistic breakdown. So, like you said, not much for them offensively to write home about. But again, it is 1-1 in the 82nd minute. So far, job well done, but you'd like to see them close out the game.
Look at the passing differential as well, 458 to 274. That's almost domination. Campbell goes down. And we'll have a whistle. Vancouver will have a free kick coming up. Chris Serban. Serban will get on top. No, they'll send instead Marco Bustos. Bustos been a little quiet in the second half.
I'm sure they're tired as well. Again, when you decide to give up that possession battle, you're doing a lot of chasing. Bustos trying to knock one in here, see if he can get his team on the board. Oh.
Nearly a tap in that time. Just overshot. Well, actually, didn't overshoot him. DeVries should have probably put that one in the back of the net.
DeVries turning around to head referee, having another world, complaining a little bit. Thought maybe he got a little push or a little tap. He's got to do better in those situations. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities like that.
Bustos kind of gives up on that one, and now Kasner with a little bit of space to work with. Toros with Wharton. Kasner doesn't step up. What happened there?
And once again, players from the RGV squad just not in sync at all this evening. See one of those prototypical runs from Todd Wharton coming out of the holding midfielder spot in the center of the park. Trying to play a nice little two-man game with TJ Kasner and just not on the same page.
'85th minute. Toros attacking now far side. And it's Garza trying to make something happen and drawing the corner kick. Corner kicks tonight brought to you by HEB.
Tell you what, Drew, this is a great chance for RGV to reset. Final closing moments of the game. Victor Garza getting the proper footing. Let the big boys from the back come up. Kai Green 6 foot, Magalhaes 6'1", Bilyeu 6'2".
Garza. Melvin punches it out. Can they get one off here? Lots of traffic inside the 18 right now. And Vancouver able to escape danger. This is Campbell now. Taron Campbell holding things up, letting his teammates get back downfield. Here's Declan Wynn. So tonight you've seen a Toros team that clearly has struggled to develop that chemistry, even though they've owned the passing statistical category. Still, something has clearly been missing.
And I think they've struggled with that a lot this season.
How do you fix it?
You know, Junior Gonzalez is asking the same question. We've had that discussion. He thinks it's a process and it's going to come. Sometimes just there's no rhyme or reason. The floodgates just open and the goals start to come. You know, why were they so stingy in their back line in the first couple games of the season and now are turning the ball over, making costly mistakes, which is uncharacteristic of them. You know, very similar playing style as last year, throwing up huge goals, huge numbers, and just not able to do so this year. But again, Junior Gonzalez just saying, trust the process and it will come.
Because it's amazing, Devin, when you see the individual skill, I mean, it is all there for RGV. They have got the talent, they've got the players. It's just a matter of things all coming together. Sometimes chemistry is probably the toughest thing to find, no matter who you are as a head coach, isn't it?
You knocked it right on the head, Drew, for sure, spot on. You know, again, you've got players in their situation coming in and out of training, going to the first team, coming to the second team. Remember, you got a couple of them going through the US Open Cup run as well, getting some experience, so stepping away from the everyday training environment. But again, you're a professional. You've got to be able to do the same things day in, day out.
Victor Garza been very active, trying to create something for RGV. Still with possession. Wharton sends it up. Here's Kasner. Inside the 18 now. Straight on, the shot, the save. The rebound was there for Pungo to stick it back in, and he couldn't do it.
Wow. Eric Bird, more than frustrated in that situation. 88th minute, closing moments of the game. RGV gaining some momentum, moving down the field. TJ Kasner, excellent job going one-on-one, playing the ball back. Ruben Luna not being selfish, seeing Eric Bird right next to him, laying it off. Great save by Sean Melvin, and then the rebound. You can see Francisco Pungo disgusted at his opportunity to close the game out, and he could not do so.
Sean Melvin has had a few critical saves for Vancouver. I think if they can get out of here with a draw, he may be the MVP.
I think you give credit to Sean Melvin, and you also got to give credit to their excellent outside back, Chris Serban. The two of them have definitely put in a shift this evening that is going up on the bulletin board for everybody to talk about for the rest of the week.
Time running out now for both teams. Feel the sense of desperation, though, for the Toros. Both teams in double digits and draws this year. 10 for RGV, 12 for Vancouver.
That's one thing coming down the stretch. You talked about the games that are the what if this, what if that. Is it a turning moment positively? Did it turn our season around in a negative manner? But man, all those draws, 2 points every draw. You got 12 draws, 24 points that you left out there. You just like to see someone step up and try and close it out. Put forth that final effort that gives you that extra little nudge.
Toros very methodically working it around, making sure everybody touches. And a corner kick now coming up. Corner kicks tonight brought to you by HEB. Again, it will be Victor Garza.
Victor Garza going to take his time again. Look for Ivan Magalhaes making a streaking run right in between that back post and penalty mark.
Toros will reset here. Nobody home on that past 4 minutes of extra time coming up here. So lots of time still to work with.
But we saw it again there, Drew. Kai Green, actually a very clever and smart ball down into the channel. Everybody on the pitch thinking he's going to knock that ball in, but Ruben Luna and Pungo not recognizing what he was going to do, and we've kind of seen that all game long.
Todd Wharton taken down. An official right there. It was Marco Bustos trying to defend. Todd Wharton now. Whistle going the other way. See if Vancouver can get one more opportunity here. Campbell with the cross. Oh, that was a gorgeous pass. But his teammate just could not catch up to it. That was put in the perfect spot, though.
You could hear Steve Medley yelling from the sideline. He loved the idea of going quick, going direct down into the corner. Teran Campbell making a great run and played an even better ball across the box. Very unfortunate that Vancouver could not grab that second goal.
Garza had to take it away. The ball goes off the official. Opportunity and a break for RGV. Coach Gonzalez wanting a call. Gonzalez has been so active, walking up and down. Up and down the touchline all night long. Let's see. Now a little under 2 minutes to work with for RGV. Oh, it's getting really physical here in the final minutes. Thomas Sander, a little too much that time.
Don't want to make a mistake like that. Give RGV an opportunity to get a late goal and steal these points away from you on the road.
Mago Hayes, can he make something happen? Put some air under this one. And easy pickings for Melbourne.
RGV playing very high right now. Vancouver trying to pull all the troops back behind the ball. Some last-ditch efforts.
Lots of holding. Official steps right in. No calls made. That was Ruben Luna.
Luis Guardia right on top of it, running over, having a few words with Ruben Luna. Thinks Luna went to ground a little bit easy in that situation. It would be very difficult to give up a PK in the 94th minute of this match. If you're gonna blow that whistle, you better be very sure that he went down.
Get the sense too, by the way, Melvin handled that last ball. They are content to take some time off the clock.
Yeah, again, sitting where they're at on the table. We talked about their road status, 2-8-2. So a very valuable point. Not the 3 that they initially thought they were going to grab, but still a point nonetheless.
Vancouver hoping for one final opportunity. This is the right guy. Bustos racing upfield. Gets the pass there. Campbell had a shot at it, and Brown has to come out to make the save.
And the referee's going to blow the final whistle as well.
So that is going to do it. Sort of a bizarre night in the Valley, I would say, as Vancouver led for most of the contest. Toros did get a late goal by TJ Kastner, but not the performance they were looking for overall.
I think bizarre is a great word to use, Drew. I think it's a great point for each squad, deservedly on both ends. I think you had an RGV team who was just stunned early on and struggled to make their way back, but they fought back. They struggled to do that all season long, get the late game tying goal, and Vancouver, who we thought was going to come in here and probably be behind the 8 ball all game, taking advantage of their opportunities, going up 1-0 early, and again, although giving up a late goal, gaining a very valuable point on the road.
1-1 draw, Rio Grande Valley and Vancouver will wrap this one up when we return to the Valley on a Saturday night. TJ Kastner, the lone goal for the Toros.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
But getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So the Toros leave the field, not the result that they were hoping for when they came to HEB Park tonight, but they'll have to settle for a 1-1 draw. Drew Felios alongside Devin Kerr, and they did fight even though it was not their best match here tonight. You got to give them some credit. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here tonight. The Toros trying to square one up early and putting Sean Melvin on the move.
Yeah, we definitely had some fun there, Drew. Justin Billieu trying to get things started early. Nice little crack about 35 yards out. Excellent save by Sean Melvin. And here you're going to get a look at the goal from Vancouver. Awesome job playing the ball down in the corner. And you saw that young man, Gloria Amanda, what a great job playing the ball back. Stereotypical, prototypical soccer. It's exactly where you want to be. Get to the byline, knock the ball back across the box, and you had streaking Declan Wynn with the instep of his left foot into the bottom corner, putting his team up 1-0 early on.
Yeah, that early goal really shocked everybody. Toros looked out of sync on set pieces, could not really take advantage of their size. Callie Brown saved that ball from making it a 2-0 game. Second half, a little bit of a different story. Toros kind of forcing the initiative.
Like you said, they were out of sync and scatterbrained, but they came out in the second half, took initiative, tried to press a little bit more, and we, like you said, we were lacking the creativity offensively, but slowly but surely they started to break their way down.
Francisco Pungo. Oh, great save right there, the right foot of Melvin, able to come through. And then Toros get the big goal. TJ Kastner squares one up.
And they had a solid spell of possession leading up to it. We're not going to see everything on camera, but you can see Jorginho James receiving the ball, doing a little stutter step, playing it out to the talented Eric Bird, who lofts one to the back post. And how smart of Justin Billieu, not able to be able to get his entire body around for a shot, and he sees a tracking player. He drops it back right where he needs to be, and TJ Kastner, fine functional form, leaning over, knee over the ball, hits it with his laces, able to tie this game up 1-1.
Few opportunities remain for the Toros. They fought till the final seconds. That right there, a huge opportunity for Eric Bird. He couldn't cash in again. Melvin, a key save.
I thought Eric Bird and then on the rebound, Francisco Pungo were going to be able to go up and give their team the valuable 3 points that they needed. Unfortunately, not able to do so. And again, we got to give credit to the goalkeeping by Sean Melvin.
15 shots for the Toros. Only four shots. Amazing for Vancouver, but they make one count. They only possess 36% of the time.
And all 4 of those shots, as we said, coming in the first half. But, you know, it's difficult enough to go on the road and win. It's even harder to come into a hostile environment like HEB Park. You got to deal with all the fans, stampede up in section 112, the heat, the humidity. So credit to Vancouver. They did a great job, and I think those young men should be very proud of themselves. And RGV and Junior Gonzalez, again, going back to the drawing board, gonna wonder what it's gonna take to get 3 points and climb that table.
Yeah, interesting to see how the Toros respond after the result here. A 1-1 draw to Vancouver. We hope you enjoyed it here on a hot and steamy night in South Texas. An early goal by Declan Wynn put Vancouver on top. They led for most of the way. Toros struggling to regain their form. Eventually, TJ Kastner cashes in for the home team, and 1-1 would be your final result. For Devin Kerr and our entire crew, I'm Drew Felios, saying so long from the Valley. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.